So here you are standing in mountain pose. Just notice how you're standing. Notice how you normally stand. Just moving about a little bit. Really grounding yourself. So you can ground yourself just by noticing how your feet are engaging with the ground. So if we just let the feet roll from the outside of one foot to the inside of the other. So just working, stretching your toes as you do this. Feeling your ankles moving. And then begin to feel your ankles as you circle around them. So you're looking at your ankles, watching as you roll around the feet, and feel the flexion, the forward movement and the backward movement. So we're focusing on the ankles. Obviously, other parts of you are circling, but let's just stick with the ankles for a moment. And then you could move your attention to your knees and just feel your knees like a pair of windscreen wipers. In and out. And then we'll begin to circle the knees. So how does that feel to you? Circling, just getting into those joints, circling in the opposite direction. And your hips are already circling, but begin to focus on the hips. So really sensing that forwards, back, sideways movement. Thinking about your tailbone. So particularly think about your tailbone and circling the other way. And noticing how your tailbone is moving forwards, back, side to side. And it forms base of the body. It's at the very bottom of your pelvis, your sacrum. And think about the crown of your head and your tailbone, noticing everything in between. And begin to feel the movement between your tailbone and the crown of your head. So whole body just circling and circling the other way. So you're feeling this movement starting to go through your spine. So getting into that. And then at the top of your spine, you have your shoulders. So let's open up the armpits. Start to move into the elbows. So moving into the elbows and just really enjoying the feeling of the sides of your body opening up, having some rotation movements here. Drawing your arms out so that you're starting to work from the elbows to the wrists and into the fingers. So both arms, just making as large a movement as you can and feeling all of this from your feet all the way up through your body, pelvis, spine, shoulders, head, whole body moving. And you can go down and around and up. So down and around and up. So really feeling your breath increasing and moving, changing direction. All of this is your movement. And then you're just going to let yourself come into stillness and let your hands come onto your body. Doesn't matter where they land, where your hands land. Have your eyes closed or a soft gaze. Noticing your breath. Noticing this connection. And noticing how you're feeling right here, right now. What's coming up for you right here, right now. Just notice it. Nothing to do, nothing to fix or change, just notice. And then keeping one hand on your heart center, let the other hand hang. Just adjusting your feet so that you are actually in mountain pose. From the center of your chest, slide the hand towards the shoulder, just a little lean back here. This arm is relaxed, and then back to center. Have your eyes open so you can let your eyes look down towards your fingers and your heel beyond. So this is a lean back, maybe a little bit of a rotation. You're not side bending, so it is a lean back. Letting your breath fall in, most useful way for you. When you come up this time, change hands. And again. And this is just a very gentle movement. You're easing that shoulder back and down. The hand is just very relaxed, sliding from chest to shoulder and beyond. And then just coming to standing back in mountain pose. So arms hanging, noticing how you're feeling. So we want to look down. When you look down, can you notice if this is just about your neck, or whether when you look down, you're actually moving your spine? So there's a feeling of your pelvis moving back, your spine rounding. So when you come up, your eyes are straight ahead, you can feel the pelvis regaining its normal place. So when you look down again, it's not just about your neck, but you're letting yourself slowly roll down. So feeling the roundedness of your back, the heaviness of your head, arms hanging. Just let yourself roll. There's a softness at your knees. Wherever you get to, there's a subtle pause, but we're not holding it at the moment. And as you press into the feet and you start to come up again, just noticing the roll of your pelvis. So feeling your pelvis as you slowly come up, and the pelvis comes back so that it's just back in its usual place. So if we look down again, and as you start to roll, feeling the pelvis move back. Heavy arms, heavy head. If you think about the weight of your pelvis and the weight of your head moving away from each other, tailbone and crown of the head moving away from each other as you come up and down. This is a really nice practice at any time of the day, but particularly when you first get out of bed in the morning, because we tend to be quite stiff, but there's a lot of space to be had, to be found. So eyes are looking straight ahead, and then you want to look down. And in order to look down even more, your pelvis has to move. So your eyes are being facilitated by your pelvis. You can keep your eyes closed, but when you're down there, if you open your eyes, just look and see where your eyes are looking. And then uncurl. So there's strength in your legs. And there's no effort. When you're up again and you're looking straight ahead, just thinking about how your head is balanced above your neck and the curves of your spine and where your pelvis is. And if you want to look up at the ceiling now and you don't move your pelvis, you can feel this sort of crunching discomfort in your neck. But if you allow your pelvis to join in, so starting to look up at the ceiling again, and in order to look up comfortably, your pelvis comes forwards and you've got that curve of your whole spine. And then when you bring your eyes back to looking straight ahead, feel the pelvis has gone directly underneath you. So again, let your eyes travel up towards the ceiling and notice how you can see the ceiling really comfortably if you let your pelvis move forwards. Remember your breathing, so don't hold your breath, and coming back to center. And as your intention is to look at the ceiling and your pelvis is facilitating that, and there's no effort, your arms are very relaxed. And then returning to looking straight ahead. If you, this time, let your arms float forwards, and as you want to look up at the ceiling, you're looking up between your hands, and you have the length of your whole body. And then as you look back ahead and your arms are coming down, you want to look down to the ground where your eyes are taking you, and you start to roll down. So you have the heavy arms and the pelvis is rounding back. So roundedness. And remember, there are no straight lines in the body. So you have curves for a reason. So you might notice my knees are a little bent as I come up. And then as I look up to where my hands have gone to, pelvis has come forwards. And then I'm not putting any stress in my arms, just letting my eyes look down, just between my heels as I roll down. And when we come up this time, let the arms stay hanging as you uncurl back into standing. And you're looking straight ahead. So practicing with awareness, let's just look over the right shoulder and notice if it's just about your neck or whether you're letting your pelvis and maybe your whole spine turn. So notice the difference as you go to the right side again, the difference between just turning your head and letting your pelvis join in and your whole spine turn. So if you're just to look over your right shoulder with using your neck, see how far you can see, and then come back to center. And this time when you look over the right shoulder, just let the whole body join in and see how far around you can see. And remember to let your breath just fall in. So let's do the same to the other side. Just turn your head to the left, just your head, and notice how far your eyes go. And then come back to center. And when you turn to the left this time, really notice whole spine and pelvis joining in. How much further, without effort, can you see? So noticing as your eyes turn and your pelvis and your spine join in. And just keeping your breathing very soft. Let's just do that once more. And when you come back to center this time, we're going to drop down into the squat. So turn your toes out and just coming down here, fingertips on the floor, and let yourself rock from side to side. If you're not somebody that likes squatting, we're going to come to lying on the back. But for anybody that is happy to do this, it's a really important movement, working in the ankles, obviously the knees and the hips as well. But all of this musculature, pelvic floor, base of your pelvis, and all around your hips, you're actually improving the function of all of the joints and the organs in that area. And then everybody coming to sitting and then rolling back into lying. So lying back on your mat. Just into lying, that's it. So starting off just by letting your legs go long, arms go long. And noticing how you've placed your head, noticing the weight of your pelvis. Let your legs fall out, so your toes fall out. You're aware of the space between your legs, that's part of you. Notice the space between the arms and the sides of your body. That's your space. It's a few moments of quiet while you tune in to sensation of the body against the floor. And noticing the heaviest parts, pelvis and head. If you focus on the back of your pelvis, noticing, sensing the two bones that make up your pelvis, the ilium, right side, left side. And between them is your sacrum, probably the part that you can feel right now. And at the base of the sacrum is your coccyx. And just noticing whether you feel as though you're resting right in the center of your pelvis, a little bit more towards the coccyx, or a little bit more towards the waist. There's no right or wrong, it's just sensation, awareness. And then be aware of your head. How have you placed your head? Noticing the weight of your head. And do you feel the weight is closer to the top of your neck, to the crown of your head? In other words, do you feel as though you're centered on the back of your head? And then have an awareness of the space between your head and your pelvis, the spine. Just let your awareness travel along the length of your spine. Where can you feel the weight, the connection? Notice where you feel space. And notice what changes as you breathe. And now we're going to bring the feet to the floor with your knees bent. So coming in so that you don't disturb your pelvis too much as you bring your feet hip width. So what feels like a comfortable place for you, ankles below the knees. Slightly different way of saying the same thing. As you exhale, can you roll your tailbone towards your face? As you inhale, can you roll your tailbone towards the floor? So exhaling, tailbone to the face. Inhaling, tailbone to the floor. And as you feel the rolling of your pelvis, noticing how your spine is responding. So as you roll the tailbone towards your face, your lower back flattens. And as you roll the tailbone towards the floor, your lower back arches. So as you breathe out, tailbone to the face, lower back flattening. As you breathe in, tailbone to the floor, lower back arching, feel your belly expand. And noticing how this movement is going all the way up through your spine so that you're affecting what's happening in your neck. Can you feel your head rolling? So from the nape of the neck to the crown of your head, the head is mimicking the rolling of the pelvis. When your tailbone comes towards your face, your chin goes up in the air, the crown of your head rolls back towards the crown. And when you roll the tailbone towards the ground, the head rolls towards the nape of the neck, chin down. So don't make your head do anything, but just start to feel this movement. And then resting. So sliding your legs away for a moment, just noticing resting. And then bringing your feet back to stand on the floor and just adjusting your feet. So if we clasp the hands behind the head, so hands clasped behind the head, elbows out to the sides as best you can. So here you're breathing in. As you breathe out, elbow points to the ceiling. Use your hands to lift your head. And at the same time, roll your tailbone towards your face. And then as you rest back, roll the tailbone to the ground, arching in the lumbar. And as you exhale, elbow points to the ceiling as you lift your head and roll your tailbone towards your face. So if you look along the length of your body, you'll see as you lift your head and roll the tailbone towards your face, that the front of the body feels as a shortening. And then feeling that length, the expansion of your belly as you rest back, tailbone to the floor. When you rest back this time, allow your arms to release and to slide your legs away. So just coming into resting once again, feeling release of your legs, release of your arms, whole body resting. If we slide the right leg into standing, so with the foot on the floor and the knee pointing at the ceiling, keeping your right hand down by your right heel, slide your left arm as high as it will go along the floor, keeping the arm relaxed. So if you press down for your right foot, send your right kneecap forwards over the right foot and allow your body to roll. And then fall back. So as you press down, kneecap going forwards, there's an out breath, You can turn your head so your eyes look up at your left fingers and then roll back. I want you to focus, we do this a lot, but I'd like you to focus today on the connection between your tailbone and the crown of your head. So as you press and roll, and your eyes go up to the hand, you can feel the crown of the head moving back towards the tailbone. So there's an arch in your spine. And resting back. So slide that top arm down, relax your bottom arm, and let both legs go long. Let your arms rest. So it's quite important to have this little rest in between sides, just so that you can notice maybe some changes between right side, left side, subtle differences. And then if you bring your left foot to the floor with your knee pointing at the ceiling, keep the left hand down, slide your right arm up. So as you send the weight down through your left foot, left kneecap going forwards, feel the roll of your pelvis, and roll your eyes to look up at your top hand, and then drop back. Breathing out and breathing in. So starting to sense the connection between tailbone and crown of the head. So as you press and roll, feel the crown of the head moving closer to the tailbone and then rolling back. This left hand, as you press and roll, is sliding closer to the heel, and that's increasing that side arch in your back. So the long side, completely passive. And when you roll back next time, and resting once again in Shavasana. So being aware of the connection between tailbone and the crown of the head. If we bring the feet flat on the floor again, knees bent, and we're going to come into bridge pose. So thinking about the feet, as you send the feet down, the kneecaps go forwards, feeling the legs picking up the weight of your pelvis. You're not doing anything in your torso, it's all about your legs. And as you come up here through your spine, feel the pelvis as it comes up, belly drops. There's a slight movement of the tailbone upwards, not really towards your face, more towards the backs of your knees. Stay soft. So keep the legs working and keep the softness in your trunk. Keep smooth in breath, smooth out breath. And then just allow the weight to transfer back through your spine towards your pelvis. slowly releasing. Once your spine is, your pelvis is on the floor, there's a big breath in. You really notice the rolling of the tailbone towards the floor, the arching of the waist, expansiveness in the belly. And on the next out breath, start to press down through the feet, kneecaps go forwards. Feel your legs picking up your pelvis. So keep the kneecaps going forwards. Feel the weight transferring towards the upper back, towards the head. And keep your legs strong, but keep the torso really very relaxed. So soft belly. And feeling that curve of your spine. So your spine has become a little bit like a hammock for the front of your body. Softness. Even your face feels as though it's falling back. Soft. And then begin to transfer the weight back towards the pelvis. So feeling the vertebra, feeling the weight transferring back down your spine. Now, as the weight comes back, there's a breath in, a real sense of release here. And sliding your legs away once again. And just giving yourself a moment here in Shavasana. So if we bring the knees over the front of the body and have your hands on your kneecaps. So in fact, we'll start with the hands on the kneecaps as you roll your head to one side, almost going face down. It's about the skull. So you're pressing the bones of your head into the ground. You almost go face down, really, really relaxing. In fact, I am going face down. So you're aware of the head, and now be aware of your pelvis as well. Feel the bony pelvis rolling onto your spine and then off onto the side. Make sure the head is the leader. So the head begins these movements a little bit before. And then from one side, bring yourself all the way over into child's pose. So coming into child, my favorite way of doing child is toes together, knees apart, arms forwards. So you need to be able to rest your forehead. So if it's better for you, have your two hands under your forehead. So feel the breath into the back of your pelvis, across the back of your waist. Feel the breath in your armpits. Uncurl slowly into being up on the all fours. So you can either have your hands flat if your wrists are okay, or you can be on your fists. We're going to bring the forehead or the head to the floor. And just notice where you've placed your head, somewhere between the hairline and the crown. I'd like you to roll towards the crown of your head and then back towards the hairline. And noticing the connection between crown of head and tailbone.
and crown of head and tailbone. So as you roll towards the crown of your head, feel your tailbone rolling towards your crown. As you roll towards the hairline, notice your tailbone rolling away from the crown. So keep this movement going, inhaling as you roll tailbone and crown together, exhaling as crown and tailbone move apart. And then rolling back into child. So just your normal child's pose, folding down here, arms either in front or by your sides, or stacked fists. We're going to come back into the all fours. So when you come up, anchor your sitting bones and let your head come up last. So it's a really good way to work. Back to the all fours. Put your head back down on the ground and this time come onto your forearms. So you've got your hands relaxed on the floor above your head or your hands clasped. And again, exactly the same, rolling towards the crown of your head, tailbone goes under, rolling towards the hairline, tailbone lifts. So rolling. There shouldn't be a lot of weight on your head. We're not looking to do headstand. This is all about movement of your spine and the connection between your pelvis and your head. So then resting back once again in child's pose, folding back down, letting go. So having that sense of breath as you breathe in all across your back and a sense of release as you breathe out. Shoulders are draping forwards, so you're relaxing in your shoulders, especially if the arms are back. Even if your hands are under your forehead, you can let your shoulders roll forwards. If the arms are out in front of you, there's no effort. Shoulders rolling forward. And we'll come back up to the all fours. And this time we'll do our traditional cat pose. So as you round up, feel crown of head and tailbone coming towards each other. As you extend on the out breath, tailbone and crown of head moving away. So rounding up. And you could say, even on the exhale, as you extend the spine, that crown of head and tailbone are coming towards each other, but from the extension. So you extend your spine. And if you open your eyes, watching how your eyes are being moved, this is actually being driven by the tailbone. So your eyes go where your tailbone takes them. And on your next exhale, come back again into child's pose. So folding back once again and resting in your favorite child's pose. And then again, anchor your pelvis and uncurl into sitting up. So once you're back up, sitting up on your heels or standing up on your knees, we'll practice moving one leg forwards and then back. So this is the balance, and you naturally will have to move slightly to the left. Just noticing how quietly you can do this, how smoothly and how slowly. And then we'll change to the other side. Let's count. And coming back. So from here, if you come into the all fours again, and we'll bring the right foot up to the side of the right hand. We're going to circle in the pelvis. So depending on your wrists, you can move and circle, circling in both directions, letting yourself go right the way forwards. One or two of you will go all the way back so that you sit with this heel to the outside of the. Don't do that if you feel any discomfort whatsoever in the knee. If there's any discomfort in the hip, you won't even go there, but don't force the knee. And then if we take this right foot, straight leg out to the right in a big circle and take the foot behind the left toes and look over your left shoulder. Just a couple of deep breaths in here and deep breaths out, and then sweep the foot back and bringing it forwards again, and then back into kneeling. So from the all fours, bring your other leg up, and we'll work here to get into the hip. So circling the pelvis. And circling in the opposite direction. Going forwards and back. Just getting into the joints. If it's okay, and maybe it was all right on the other side. And rolling back. So you can completely ignore this bit. And then hands on the inside. Take that leg out to its side, sweep it straight leg all the way behind the other toe, and look over this time your right shoulder. And deep breaths. So deep breaths in, deep breaths out. And then sweep the foot back and bring it up and then back into child's pose. So folding down once again. And we're going to come up, bringing your head up last. So some of the work we've been doing, we started standing with this looking down, and you can do it just as successfully in kneeling. And then looking up at the ceiling, so your spine takes you. If you're not somebody that kneels right back, then you can look down here, and then you can look up at the ceiling.
So if we bring the right foot forwards and tuck your left toes under, I want you to roll down, just rolling down here. And then as you roll up, let your arms float forwards and up. Look up between your hands, feel your pelvis coming forwards. And then rolling your arms down, rolling your eyes down to the floor, feeling your pelvis going back. I'll just turn so you can see. So we're starting off by going down. You've got the roundedness of your spine. And then when you come up here, floating your arms forwards and up, pelvis comes forwards as you look up at the ceiling. And we'll do that one more time. Fingertips coming down. And then pelvis coming forwards. Your eyes are being lifted up to the ceiling by the movement of your pelvis. Tuck your toes under and just lifting into that rounded movement and then dropping. So lifting up and then dropping. Rounding your spine and extending. And then we'll come back and coming to the left foot forwards. Adjusting the camera there. So dropping down here, you can see how the pelvis is rounded back. And then when you uncurl, letting the arms come forwards and up, feel the pelvis moving forwards, taking your eyes to the ceiling. And then as your eyes travel down the wall in front of you and along the floor towards your knee and beyond, roundedness in your pelvis. Coming up here. And once more. Fingertips either side of your foot, tuck your back toes under, exhale and lift, and then come down. So exhale and lift. You can see my front knee doesn't straighten. My front thigh is really anchored onto the front of my body. And my fingers are for balance, they're not for weight. My legs are doing the work. And then little twist here, come all the way up. So you're standing with wide legs, fingertips on the floor beneath your chest. So you've gone from this half lunge into pivoting, toes turned in, fingertips on the floor. And we're going to uncurl into standing up. So coming up here, uncurling into standing. So here we are back in mountain pose. Okay, so taking a few breaths here. So if we work towards the triangle, when you take a step. So we'll actually stand in Tadasana and take a step with the right foot. Can you really be conscious of, I just want to make sure that you can see my feet. So be really conscious of being in track lines and also keeping the width. So rather than, keeping the width, not length. So if you have to lunge, then that's too far. So just walking and keeping width. When you fold forwards, just be conscious of your eyes going down because of the movement of your pelvis, and right leg is forward, so right hand comes to the inside of the right leg. You're still square, and you can bring this hand up the inside of the arm. So left hand can slide up the inside of your right arm. The right arm goes down as you turn your chest. And this hand could come onto the back of your pelvis. It's a good thing to do because you can really feel what's going on there. Now focus on your feet. Feel the balance. Focus on the pelvis and then the rotation of your spine. So your head, just like when we were standing at the start of the class, your head moves because your spine is moving. So your spine is moving, not turning your head just on its own, because that's really not very useful and it hurts. So feeling this rotation, have some deep breaths, and then when you're ready to come back, square yourself up, square your hands onto the back of your pelvis, press into the feet and feel your tailbone going under as you bring yourself forwards and up and step back. So I know there's, we want to take the arm up to the ceiling, but that changes an awful lot and can sometimes damage your shoulders. It's better to focus on the spine and wait until you've got lots of rotation before you start taking the arm up. So taking the step forwards and keeping a bit of width. If either leg is going to bend, make it the front one. So as you come forwards, feel you're leading with the crown as the tail goes back. And the left hand comes down, back of the hand on the inner leg. Right hand, palm to palm with your left hand. Sliding the right hand up the arm, so the left shoulder goes down. As you turn, use this hand on your chest, bring it to its own shoulder. And then I would put this hand on the back of the pelvis just to feel what's going on there. You could look down, feel a bit square again, and then check that you're not just turning the head, that you're actually moving the whole spine in order to turn and look to the right. So taking time here, deep breaths in, deep breaths out. So you're breathing against restriction because you've turned at your ribs. That's the bit of the body that we want to turn. We can easily turn our necks and damage them. We can easily turn our waist and hurt our lumbar. So it's about getting some movement into the ribs. Another deep breath in here. As you breathe out, let yourself come back to center, bringing both hands on the back of the pelvis, and then pressing into the feet. As you come up, you feel your tailbone going down and the head coming up and stepping back. So taking a moment in mountain pose. So you could repeat that. You could repeat it, and if you feel that you've rotated in the shoulder enough, then you can take the top arm up. But you really want to think about the strain, that you're not straining And also, is it the sort of movement you would do on a daily basis? Because actually, if it isn't the sort of thing you do on a daily basis, then it's not functional and it's not necessarily great for the body. So taking a moment here, and we're going to roll down the spine. So we're going to really let the spine rest. So folding forwards is resting, heavy head, heavy arms. And this time, when your fingertips get to the floor, pause, let your fingertips, I'm just moving back a bit, let your fingertips be on the ground, so you've got enough bend in the knees. Don't take the weight off your legs. You can just walk your fingers forwards so that you're really opening up in the armpits. You'll actually feel quite a deep suction in your belly. And I'm actually using my fingertips to almost pull the mat towards me. So deep breaths in, deep breaths out, keeping your neck relaxed. And then if you put your palms flat, and notice that you could still lift your hands. So your legs are doing the work. Now you can start to share the weight as you pad forwards a little, not too far. So you can have soft knees. And you haven't really changed very much in the arms. They haven't gone too far forwards. You can come up on the balls of the feet, take your hands just fractionally forwards, maybe half a palm print, and feel what's going on between tailbone and crown of head. So actually there can be some roundedness. You don't want too much extension of your spine, certainly not in the shoulders. So just working here, deep breaths in, deep breaths out, feeling the openness of your armpits. If you're feeling like a plank, then you can walk further forwards, heels going back as you come forwards into your plank. And then everybody knees down and coming to lying face down. So you can lie face down on your mats. When you lie face down, just allow yourself to notice what it feels like to rest. So the shoulders fall forwards and the weight is on the cheekbone, face on one side. Feel your legs relaxing and focus on the weight of your pelvis. So the weight of your cheekbone, weight of your pelvis. Noticing thinking, and then noticing sensation. You bring your hairline to the ground. So can you do that again? Put your face on the other side this time. Notice what happens to your pelvis as you lift your head and bring the forehead to the ground. So you felt that weight of your pelvis go down. Bring your hands either side of your shoulders, elbows pointing back towards your waist. So feeling the heaviness of your pelvis, heaviness of your forehead. As you breathe out, really feel the weight of your pelvis go
give way to the ground even more. And we're going to grow a cobra. So if you just let your forehead come off the floor about an inch, keep the shoulders relaxed, and really notice the weight of your pelvis. Noticing the weight of what's still on the ground. So for me, it's from ribs to knees and heavy. Let your forehead come up another inch. Check that you're not gripping your buttocks. Smooth, deep in-breaths, smooth, deep out-breaths. And then come up another inch or two. And you're gradually coming to a place that you can sustain. There is effort. It's a challenge. Holding this baby cobra, not so much of a baby, it's quite a strong cobra. And really noticing sense of being grounded through your pelvis and the expansiveness of your in-breath, sense of letting go on the out-breath. So you can come into the challenge. If it's better for you to come into Sphinx with your elbows on the floor, then please do that. So you would be here. And just being in Sphinx, it's still a challenge. And you're noticing the weight of your pelvis and sensations as you breathe. And whether you're in Sphinx or in the mini cobra, noticing that you're maintaining the challenge, keeping that softness of your shoulder blades, shoulders away from the ears. So another deep breath in. On your out breath, you're going to slowly come back to the ground, just as slowly as you came up. And turning your face onto the other cheek. Let your arms relax down by your sides, shoulders falling forwards, shoulder blades falling forwards. So noticing what it feels like to rest, whole body resting. Without disturbing yourself too much, rolling onto the back of your body. So rolling onto the back body. I'm just coming up so that it's a better angle for the camera. But when you're on the back of your body now, sliding your legs away, just letting go. So from Shavasana, bringing up your right leg, just clasping the hands around your shin. If you've got knee issues, have your hands at the back of the knee. And draw the knee towards the armpits. It's a little over to the side of your body. Just feel there's enough room here for you just to move it about a little bit. And with your left hand on the knee, just draw it across your body. Use the hand to keep supporting the leg as you come. And this right arm is out to the right, unless it's not comfortable, in which case you can put the hand on the ribs. See if you can keep your underneath side, your left side, as relaxed as possible. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. So I'm doing this with support of my hand, but if you had your bolster handy, you could put it under this right shin. Deep breaths. And then very slowly rolling onto your back, supporting the leg back to center. Sliding the leg away. Just let yourself rest for a moment in Shavasana. And then bringing your left leg up. And again, drawing this knee towards the armpit. Hand behind the knee, if it's better for your knee. Just drawing it in, just giving it a little movement. Just an inside-outside type of movement. So you feel it, the leg bone sliding in the hip socket. And then with your right hand on top, just drawing the knee across the body. Letting your left arm go out to the left. So keep supporting your knee unless it drops all the way to the floor, but even then, support it to stay close to your body. And with your other arm out to the side, or the hand resting on the ribs. Keeping your underneath side relaxed. So passive in that right side of the body. Another deep breath in. As you breathe out, using your hands to bring your leg back to center. And then sliding the leg away, bringing yourself into Shavasana. So we're going to rest in Shavasana now. If you need your blankets, anything under your head, bolster under your knees, then please do that. So arranging yourself for relaxation. So once you're settled, just feeling yourself land. So you're landing, you're releasing tension as you connect with the ground. So as the body settles, come into a sense of the basic resting position. Does your pelvis feel as though it's resting? So be aware of the weight of your pelvis. Be aware of how connected it feels, right side, left side. Shifting until you feel completely comfortable. And then come back to an attention of the head. Is the head resting? How does it feel on the ground? So you could just move the head a little bit from side to side until you feel that the head is completely resting.
And notice space between head and pelvis, your spine, the curves of your spine. Does your spine feel rested? Can you feel the connected places? Can you feel the natural spaces? So there's nothing to fix or change. It's awareness. Notice any subtle movements as you breathe. Feeling the expansiveness of your whole body as you breathe in, and the release as you breathe out. Be aware of the weight of your limbs. So be aware of your legs flowing away from the pelvis, the weight of your heels. Just allow your toes to fall out. Feel your legs heavy. Be aware of the space between the legs. This is your space. Be aware of how you've placed your arms as they flow from the torso. Just noticing whether your palms are up or down. And as you turn the palms up, there's a sense of release in the shoulders. Notice space between upper arms and the sides of your body. This is your space. Freedom in the armpits. And once you feel that your physical body is as comfortable as it can be, turn your attention to the inner space, that space between your eyebrows. In that inner space, make a resolve. This is a short, positive statement set in the present for yourself, someone close to you, even the universe. So I am well. I am calm. I am strong. And you can repeat that for yourself, for others, for the world. And now leaving that inner space, and drop the awareness to the space between your collarbones. Take the awareness across your right collarbone to your right shoulder, down your right arm to your elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, tip of the thumb, tip of the first finger, middle finger, fourth finger, fifth finger. Sense all the fingers and thumbs simultaneously. Draw the awareness into the center of the palm, into the inner wrist, the inner elbow, the inner shoulder. Take the awareness back across that collarbone to the center, and then across your left collarbone to your left shoulder, upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, the tip of the thumb, first finger, middle finger, fourth finger, fifth finger. Sense all the fingers and thumb simultaneously. Bring the awareness into the center of the palm, the inner wrist, inner elbow, inner shoulder. Draw the awareness across to the center of your collarbones. Drop the awareness down to the center of your breastbone. Take the awareness in behind your right breast, in behind your left breast, and back behind the center of your breastbone. Then drop the awareness down behind your navel and down into the pelvis. Take the awareness to your right hip, thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, sole, instep. Right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth toe. Bring the awareness into the center of the foot, the inner ankle, the inner knee, the inner hip, into the center of the pelvis, and across to your left hip, thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, sole, instep. Left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth toe. Draw the awareness back through the center of your foot, the inner ankle, the inner knee, the inner hip, to the center of your pelvis. And draw the awareness from the center of your pelvis back up to your navel. From your navel back up to your heart center. From your heart center to the base of your throat. From the base of your throat to the space between your eyebrows. From the space between your eyebrows to the crown of your head. From the crown of your head, allow your awareness to flow down the back of your whole body, taking in your upper back, your arms, your hands, your torso, pelvis, backs of the legs, heels, all the way to the center of your feet and beyond. Every time you breathe out, allow the breath to flow from the crown of your head, down the back of your body, and beyond the soles of your feet. Inhaling back up and exhaling down the back. Sense the breath flowing like a beautiful cloak or a waterfall, whatever appeals to your senses. Breath flows down the back of your body. And now allow the flow of breath to flow down the front of your body. So the front of your body from crown to the tips of your toes and beyond. Flowing over the front of your body, fronts of your arms, fronts of your legs, tops of your feet to the tips of your toes. So allow the breath to flow up and down the front of your body like a waterfall, cleansing, cooling, refreshing. And the next time that your awareness is at the crown of your head, allow this flow to be within. Let it flow through your brain, through the center of your head, through the center of your body, around all the organs, through your pelvis, through your legs, through your arms, through your hands. So this flow of breath through the center of your body, cooling, healing, calming, refreshing. Just imagine the flow of breath up and down the center of your body. the next time that your awareness sits at the crown of your head, then just dropping it into that space between your eyebrows, the inner space. And in that inner space, remember the resolve you made at the start of this practice. Repeat it to yourself 2 or 3 times. And now, beginning to make some movement, you can begin to wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes. You can roll your feet at the ankles, roll your hands at the wrists, roll your head from side to side. You can yawn, stretch, whole body yawning, taking some deeper breaths, making some sound as you breathe out, really letting go. And then bring your knees up over the front of your body, hug your knees, so embracing your body. You can have a little rock from side to side as you hold your knees close and really appreciating your body for being with you right here, right now. When you're ready, just rest on one side. Draw yourself up slowly from your side. Let your head come up last. And once you're sitting upright, just bringing your hands onto your heart center. So there's a sense of the hands just below your collarbones, just easing the skin, breastbone upwards, just brightening up the chest. Feeling this connection of hands, body, heart and mind, and breath. Spend a few moments here really connecting and noticing if your body is speaking to you right here, right now. Noticing any insights, any wisdom coming to you from your body. Noticing, listening. And considering what you might do with this wisdom, this insight. And then you could bring your hands together, rub your palms together, placing your palms over the closed eyelids. And dropping your head down into your hands. Feel the weight of your head in your hands. Using your hands to lift your head. And then starting to blink your eyes open into the darkness of your hands. Very slowly allowing the light back in. As you bring your hands away from your eyes. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.